Hello, good afternoon, guys. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to today's edition of the Hangout on Air trainings. And let's see, I think we are just on time. Okay, now as you know, this is the third edition of a 5-part series, and today we will cover universal app campaigns. Now, before I hand it over to Shabana, here are a few key messages. The first one is please post your questions in the comments, and we will answer them towards the end of the session. If for whatever reason your Hangout doesn't load or it hangs, please refresh your page. The next one is because you want to be able to see our slides, since we will be doing a live demo, make sure your YouTube setting is to HD. And also, the last but not the least for today is I will share a feedback form with everyone who registered for the Hangout. Please fill that up so we can take your feedback for the next couple of sessions. Now, over to Shabana, who will take us through the deck.
Hi everyone, I'm Shabana and I'm part of the hi everyone, I'm Shabana. I'm part of the Performance Solutions team at Google based in India. And I'm going to walk you through what is called Universal App Campaigns or UAC. One second. Give me a second, I'll just get my slides. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, here you go. Okay, I hope everyone can see my slide deck. And what I'll try to do today is essentially cover three things with you. One, I'll walk you through UAC and how it helps advertisers. And we'll also talk about some customers who've successfully used UAC in their app install campaigns. Second, I'll try and walk you through how a campaign is created and some best practices around optimization and tracking. And third, very interestingly, I will try and give you a sneak peek into the roadmap that Google has for UAC and what you can expect in the next months to come. Oh, you can't see my deck? All right, give me a minute, please. All right. Okay, I hope it's visible now. Let me just continue. All right, so we all know that app developers are doing an amazing job, right, at creating variety of fantastic apps for practically every use out there. In fact, we know that there are almost 1 million apps in Play Store and App Store each. And this brings us to a bigger problem of the app actually getting discovered by the user. In fact, data tells us that almost 60% of all apps which are actually created never get downloaded. So this is a big problem for app developers, advertisers, and agencies, and Google can help solve this problem of discoverability. Now, as we all know, Google now has almost 7 different platforms with almost 1 billion users each. So Google can help the users and agencies like yourselves to solve the problem of getting the app discovered by the user while they are searching on google.com, or when they are maybe in a different app, or whether they're generally surfing the net, or whether they're watching YouTube videos. Now, normally, as an advertiser or as an agency, you would have to create a separate campaign to find the users in each of these platforms. And that would mean creating extensive keyword lists for search campaigns. That would mean creating extensive placement and categories and targeting filters, etc., etc. But the good news is that the Universal App Campaign, or UAC, you can create a single app campaign and it works across all platforms of Google. This helps you save time. It helps you maximize reach and helps you get the maximum app installs for the performance goals that your advertiser has set. And the setup is super simple as well. UAC is not just a one-stop shop, but the setup is actually three simple steps. One, just type what your ad will say to the user, and then Google will automatically create ad formats which will look good on any format type, on any screen type. If you have a video, add one. By the way, if you don't have a video, also Google can help you create a lightweight video. And please contact us later for information on that if you need any. Second, you just add which locations or which geographies your users are in. And then just add the cost that you are willing to pay for the install and your daily budget, and you're ready to go. So you don't have to actually create these extensive keyword lists and put targeting filters of demographics and any other kind of targeting that you would normally do in a campaign. Behind the scenes, Google actually uses this magical algorithm which will auto-optimize and give you the maximum install volumes for your target CPI based on your ad, based on your bids, and of course, based on the cost that you're willing to pay and the budget that you assign. So before I move on to the rest of the presentation, where I'll actually take you through a demo and the rest of it, let me address some frequently asked questions regarding UAC. So first of all, the most often heard question that we come across is, can my third-party tracking solution be used to track these campaigns? The answer is yes. We support both codeless AdWords conversion tracking as well as third-party tracking, and you can basically set up Android postbacks. And for more information, just contact your account team on how to set it up. The second question is, if you don't have a video or a YouTube URL, can you still run UAC ads? Yes. Again, the answer is yes. You won't be able to tap on the YouTube or the AdMob video ad inventory. But having said that, I did mention earlier, you could contact the Google team and we can create a lightweight video which is created by our internal creative team. So just let us know. Can you exclude one platform? So again, the answer is, if you want to run only on search or only on AdMob, for example, you would rather do that through creating individual separate campaigns for search, for display, or for YouTube. Ideally, UAC, the maximum benefit is to optimize across all available Google inventory. And the last question, which we hear again very often, is, can I set a acquisition goal per platform? So for example, do I want a different cost of acquisition for search or a different cost of acquisition for, say, YouTube? The answer is, you should do it again by building separate individual search, display, YouTube campaigns. UAC will be able to, in setting up a UAC, you will only be able to put a common cost of acquisition across all platforms. Okay, so before we move ahead to the rest of the presentation, I'm just going to take you through a couple of examples of customers who've done extremely well with UAC. So SpiceJet here is an example from India. It's a private airline, and they've used UAC to effectively scale up their app install volume almost 3 times with little or no maintenance. Another example is Linio. Linio is actually the largest online retail in Latin America. And they only had to set up one campaign that essentially drove more than 10,000 downloads in the first month itself. And they said that the cost of acquisition was actually 20% lower as compared to any other channel that they used. Another example from Malaysia, again, it's an e-tailer, and they used UAC extensively, and they were successfully able to get downloads at 30 to 50% lower cost of acquisition compared to any other campaign type. Another example comes from Ola, which is the Uber equivalent in India. And again, you can see here that they really drove large volumes, and at a CPD, again, almost 30% lower than what they were willing to pay, or lower than their target CPA. All right, so with this, let's go and dive into a demo of actually how you create this. Jenny, would you take over?
Yes. Everyone, just give me a second. I'll screen share.
Okay.
Right, just give me a second. Okay, so I think we're on.
All right.
Everyone can see my screen where I'm projecting.
Okay, so basically
AdWords
we get
account.
into the AdWords interface, and you basically click the plus sign, so plus campaign, and create a new campaign. Choose the type Universal App Campaign from the drop-down menu. Once you do that, use mobile app drop-down menu to select the app that you want the user to install or download. Once you've done that, now a point to be noted here that the campaign will automatically be set to only allow to be shown, the ad to be shown only on compatible Android devices, and also to only to users who don't have your app installed already. Now give a descriptive name to your campaign, whatever you'd like to call it, and please enter a few lines of ad text. Again, note that these should be standalone sentences because these lines will actually be shuffled to generate the best performing ads across .com, Play, AdMob, and GDN. If you have a video, enter the URL of this video. If you enter the URL, this video will actually run on AdMob and YouTube.
Okay, guys. So now, as you can see on my screen, I'm typing in 4 different standalone text lines for my app. So what I'm trying to push here, my mobile app, is Hydro Coach, which is a water reminding app, right? So basically, it reminds you to drink water throughout the day. So I'm just typing in a few lines, and you could see on the same page you have the ad sample preview, right? So it shows you how the ad would look like. So just give me a second, I'm typing in there. So first I just said Hydro Coach, drink water. The next one I'm saying, get custom notifications. The next I'm going to say, never miss drinking water. And the last one, let's just say, your water buddy, right? Now you just put in all of this, and if you have a YouTube video, over here you could add it. And as Shabana said, if you have it, you put it, so it'll also show up on YouTube. If you don't have a video asset, that's still perfectly fine, right?
Yes.
And then below that, you can choose a location. So if I say United States, I'm choosing that as a location. The next one I have...
just to interrupt you, Jenny, this would be the location of where you are targeting your users, right? This is not your location of where you are based, but rather where you want to target the installs.
Okay. So let's just say we don't keep it the US, but I say India. Okay. So then I select India as a country. Right. So I want everyone who's based in India to see my app. Right. And then I will select languages. So I can, let's just say if I'm selecting English or if I select Hindi.
That's fine.
Right. Now the next one, I'm on the bid strategy. So any tips here, Shabana?
Yes. So here, basically, the system actually, as you can see, does give you some suggestions for the target cost of install. So basically, the cost you will put here is the cost you're willing to pay for the install. The recommendation is that you put a realistic cost of install. Don't put one too low or too high because you don't allow the system to auto-optimize. Also, set your budget. The budget is recommended to be at least 50 times your target CPI.
Okay. So then here, as you guys can see, the system is giving me an option for it to be a max of $1.78, right, which is US dollars. Let's just say for now, I'm okay with a target CPA, which is my CPA, I'm okay with a big $2. So I put in $2 as my bid strategy. But then now if I have to put it 50 times of what my bid strategy is, so then I'm going to put $100 as my budget per day.
Awesome, and you're done.
And then I just say save and continue. And yeah, that is it. So you see, it just takes you a few seconds and finish. And you even have conversion tracking set up because it says you're all set to count your installs as conversions. You just say finish and you have this in your account.
Awesome, Jenny. So your campaign is all live and raring to go. So if you
Yes.
come back to my screen.
Yes, so let me just stop screen sharing. And over to Shabana again.
Yes, so as you saw, it was super easy to set up the campaign. You didn't have to put any keywords, you didn't have to set up any ad groups, you didn't have to put any placements or any kind of targeting filters. Like I said, in literally less than 5 minutes, you were ready to take your campaign live. We'll just touch upon a couple of other things. For example, reporting. The reporting is basically available by network or platform. So you will get a breakup by search network, display network, and YouTube if you have the video downloaded as well. Uploaded as well. Note that you will actually not get a breakup per keyword or per placement, etc., etc. So that brings us to the next point about some best practices and optimization. Before you move ahead,
Yeah, guys, just before we move ahead, we've completed most of the content for today's session, right? The next part we've got is optimizations and also questions. Please start putting in your questions in the comments so we can tackle them towards the end of the session. Over to Shabana.
Okay, so yes, before I move to the commonly faced optimization issues, I just want to again call out three things. Number one, it's very, very important that you don't make frequent changes to your UAC campaign. Remember that at the back end, there's an algorithm or a machine learning that's working. So you need to give the system time to stabilize and to gather data and then auto-optimize. Don't worry that if you see your campaign and in the first 2 days of performance, if you find that the cost per download is actually higher than your target cost of acquisition, don't panic. It is all right. Give the system a few days time. Normally, we have seen campaigns stabilizing in maximum 1 week's time. We've seen advertisers panicking and making frequent changes, adjusting their bids, etc., etc. Again, I'll remind you that there is an algorithm and you have to trust the algorithm to do its job. Just be patient. It will work. We've seen empirical evidence that UAC performs beautifully. The second and very important thing is set a target CPA that is realistic. It should be the cost that you are actually willing to pay for the CPA. In fact, I would personally recommend that you start a little higher. So if you're willing to, let's say, pay $5 for as a cost of download, I would recommend you start at maybe 7 or 8. So what this allows you to do is try to find the maximum volume that you can gain at a high CPA, and then maybe after a couple of weeks, progressively in less than 5-10 percentage points, bring it down slowly. And then you can find your sweet spot to actually know at what CPA you're actually not losing too much volume. The third is please assign adequate budget. Again, this is a common thing that we've seen, that we've got the campaign set up nicely, we've got the target CPA, but the daily budget is really too little. So the system cannot actually optimize and give you the best performance because the budget gets over really, really quickly. Again, best practices that you should set a budget of at least 50x your target CPA. UAC is designed not to require manual optimizations. However, there are sometimes you come across certain issues. So for example, if you are seeing low volumes and you have unspent budget, this is pointing to the problem that your target CPA is too low and you should try and increase it, because most likely your bid is not competitive enough. If you feel that you have a different CPI goal for different regions or different countries or maybe different platforms, then you should create a different UAC campaign for each geography or language, or create separate campaigns per platform. If you want to optimize for something more than a cost per download or cost per open, you want to optimize something deeper into the conversion funnel, like maybe or talk about lifetime value, then there are two options that you have. Maybe you should think about breaking up your UAC campaign into individual search, display, or YouTube campaigns. Or alternatively, I'll talk to you about version 2.0 of UAC shortly. Just touching upon the tracking options, we spoke about it earlier. UAC supports codeless AdWords conversion tracking. We also support Android postbacks for third-party tracking, as well as certain value track parameters. Again, like I said, the reporting will be rolled up by network type or by platform. Okay, so from this, we basically now move into Google's roadmap or vision that we have for the next generation UAC, which is coming soon. In fact, this was announced in I/O about 2 weeks ago. So let me give you a very brief sort of synopsis of what we're trying to do. So basically, the current UAC does a really good job at maximizing volume of your installs at your defined CPI. But installs alone don't actually fulfill your business needs in the long term. As a holistic acquisition strategy, you need to balance out both the volume and the quality of installs. And this is what UAC 2.0 will essentially try to do. It will try to find a good balance between lifetime value and CPI. A point to note before I move on that UAC continues to be an acquisition product. It is not really a retention or engagement product. So what is going to happen in UAC? Basically, UAC 2.0 has 3 significant pillars. Number 1, it will be cross-platform, which means that we are launching UAC for iOS. UAC currently works only on Android, but the next generation of UAC will address iOS as well. App measurement, which is anyway measuring, is anyway enjoying the benefits of codeless and third party, will become even stronger with the launch of Firebase, and there will be a much more simplified integration with third parties. The third and the most important pillar is that UAC 2.0 will concentrate on driving value by getting you higher value installs based on your in-app event, and could be volume of in-app event or value of in-app event as well. So basically, we will help you find users who are more likely to convert in your app based on the signals of in-app events that you pass on to us. So for example, if you are an agency or you are an advertiser, you need to ask yourself, what is an important in-app event for me? So for example, if I am a gaming customer, perhaps, an important conversion action could be, for example, completion of a tutorial event, or reached level 3 of the game, or mastered a specific task in a game. If I'm a shopping or retail customer, then as an agency, you would ask, what is important for you what is a valuable event in your app? And it could be something like, search for a particular item in my app, or added a particular item to my shopping cart, or added an item to my wish list, or viewed an item at least 3 times, or of course purchased an item. If you're a transportation company, then maybe something like registration, or first ride, or ride request, or number of rides taken per month. So there are innumerable examples, and conversion events could be many. Basically, we allow up to 3 different event types per campaign. All right. So this, what I told you about is pretty interesting. We will be starting UAC for LTV, or for lifetime value, or what we call for in-app events, sometime early July. So if any of you are interested, please contact your account manager and they will help you get started on an alpha testing. All right, so that brings me to the end of my presentation. Do you have any questions for me? I'm happy to take them now.
Okay, hi guys. So I'm looking at the sheet. Wow, we have a few questions. Yay. So happy to see those. So the first question is by Saurabh. He's got a pretty valid question, I think, right? So he's asking, hey, is there any way we can see where our ads were served in Universal App Campaigns?
Yes, thank you, Saurabh. That's a very common question that we get, and I did address it briefly. Like I said, the information will be provided to you, aggregated at a platform level. So you will know that the ad, the number of clicks you got, or the installs you got by search, by YouTube, or by display. You will actually not get information per keyword or per maybe the site that you're looking for. Now, I know that this is a commonly asked question. I know that sometimes advertisers say that we want to know which is more valuable for us, etc., etc. But really, it's a balance between letting the algorithm do its work and manual intervention. The minute we allow manual intervention, algorithm cannot optimize. So if you really want to do, you want to maintain your campaign separately, then by all means you should run a separate search campaign, a separate display campaign or a ad mob campaign, and advertisers do that as well. In fact, most advertisers we've seen actually run UAC parallelly with search, with display campaigns, simultaneously. These campaigns don't actually compete with each other, so you don't have to worry about you cannibalizing or actually competing against yourself if that's the issue.
Okay, I thanks Shabana. That is really insightful. So Saurabh, I hope that answers the question. Now we've got Mary has actually asked us 3 questions. So let's tackle it one by one. The first one that she's asking is, how does codeless tracking work and how do you set it up?
Okay, so you can set up codeless tracking. Actually, you don't even need to set up codeless tracking. When we showed you the demo, codeless tracking is something that automatically happens once you set up a campaign. When Jenny actually took us through the demo of actually how to set up the campaign, the last step that you saw there, Jenny, could you go back to the screen?
Sure, let me just go back, guys. Just give me a second. 1 minute. So I'm just going to screen share again.
Yes. So I don't know if you can go back to the last step of.
No, actually, because I already created that campaign.
All right.
But I know what Shabana is talking. So once I was setting it up, right? So it said that the conversions will directly get calculated. So it didn't really ask me to set it up.
Yeah. Precisely. So it's automatically done. There is no setup per se that's required. That's the last step. Once you click save and continue, codeless tracking is automatically set up for you. I hope that answers question number 1.
So that is the first question answered for Mary. After that, she's asking, apart of location targeting, can we narrow down the targeting by gender or age?
Yes, again, good question, Mary. And to answer the question, UAC, basically, you don't want to add filters and you don't want to give, you don't want to intervene as far as the campaign optimization is concerned. The point of UAC is simply this, that you are willing to pay an X amount for a download. Now, whether that download comes from A, B, or C, site, or A, B, or C keyword, or A, B, or C age, gender, should be immaterial. As long as you are able to maximize your volume at a specified cost of install, you should let the system do its job. Having said that, UAC does allow you to put certain filters, like you could, for example, put some negative keywords. For example, if you don't want to, you don't want UAC to run on certain placements or certain keywords, that negatives are permitted. But having said that, that's not recommended. We just recommend that you allow the algorithm to just do its job.
Okay. Great, thanks, Shabana. So Mary, I guess, if I had to really just make it simple, you cannot target by gender or age for UAC. Now, the third question that Mary asks is again on reporting. Can we see the placement of where the ads appear, just like GDN campaign reporting?
Yeah.
I think this, again, is exactly similar to what Saurav asked us before, saying that, can I see where my ads showed? And as of right now, we don't tell you we don't give you the details of every placement that your ad shown on, but on an aggregator level, it'll tell you how many impressions or how many clicks and downloads you had from GDN versus YouTube versus search. Would that be right,
exactly
Shabana?
Right. That's exactly right.
Perfect. Arpita has the next question, where she's saying, can you elaborate on event per campaign? If I think about this, Shabana, she's actually, because when you were talking us through setting it up, right? So you said if your user just wants the different kind of actions that you're per se
Yeah. So I guess your question is around, I'm assuming you're basically asking me about UAC 2.0 and what kind of events
Yes.
can be set up. So like I said, the events that can be set up are, you can set up to maximum 3 events in the US per campaign. Of course, you can set up many, you can set up 5 campaigns if you like, which are running parallelly. I gave you examples of the kind of events that you would set. Event would essentially mean any conversion action taken within the app. So I gave you the example of, let's say, a shopping app where the event could be, let's say, registration. It could be the user actually adds an item to a shopping cart. So from the advertiser's point of view, he will say that getting a user or getting the app downloaded for me is the value of which I'm willing to pay is about, let's say, 200 rupees, assuming he's an Indian advertiser. But he may say that once this user actually adds an item to the cart, then he's a much more valuable user for me. So his action of actually adding an item to the cart is maybe 2x times. So maybe this guy is valued for 2 times more valuable. So I'm willing to pay, let's say, 400 rupees for this guy. And then he purchases an item. Let's say he purchases an item worth rupees 5,000 rupees. Then the value assigned to that conversion would actually be 5,000. So the event that we're talking about is actually a conversion action defined by the advertiser, the user taking a certain action within the app.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Arpita. If you still have any questions or concerns on it, please type it out. Now, I like the session a lot. A lot of questions coming in. The next question is by Shakti Priyo, where he says, what kind of enhanced measurements are we looking at in UAC 2.0? Okay, guys, you know what I'll do for UAC 2.0, because it is still in the pipeline, right?
Yeah.
We are not going to answer any of those right now because it is in beta. If you want,
it's actually an alpha, not even beta.
Yeah, it's an alpha. So we actually cannot be talking about it. But if you want to know, then please reach out to your account managers. And once we can start talking about it, you will definitely hear from us. Great. Now we've got another question from Shikhir, where he's asking us, if we want to spend more on search network as compared to display network, how can we do that? Good question, Shikhir. And also, he's asking a follow-up question, which says, in case we have more than one conversion in our account, and I need to meet targets for all of them, how would UAC optimize? So, Shakir, I'm going to come back to the first question where you said you want to spend more on search as compared to display, right? If you're running a UAC, there really is no way for you to tell the system to put in different amounts. You can't say, I've got $100 as my daily budget and I want to put 60 on search versus just 40 on the GDN. But as Shabana mentioned before, that if your goal is actually more to spend certain more on search as versus display, then I think you need to set up different campaigns in that.
That's right.
Right. Shabana, do you want to elaborate a little bit more on this?
No, perfect. I think what you said is perfectly right. If the advertiser has a certain goal of that sort, then it would be best to actually set up separate campaigns. Again, from a UAC philosophy point of view, the idea is to get the maximum installs at the most efficient price. Yes. Now, the system will then auto-optimize and tell you which platform is giving you that efficiency and price. And it will auto-optimize. So it will not allow you to manually intervene there.
Yeah, guys, I think this is one of the biggest takeaways about UAC, because I also tend to hear a lot of questions where people say, but I want to optimize UAC. I want to see where my ads show. I want to be able to bid more. I want to be able to segregate versus just putting the amount all in that. But the beauty about UAC is that it takes away the hard work per se that you would need to put in. It'll auto-optimize it for you. So when you're looking at UAC, look at it from an angle, just as Shabana mentioned just now, right? That you are looking for installs, and this is the certain CPI that you're looking at it for. And the system will just go work its magic, figure out if it thinks that search is giving you better CPIs, of course it will put more on search. If it thinks GDN is working much better for you, it will put more on GDN. If it thinks YouTube is, hey, this can really break the bank and I can give you a much, much lower CPI than what you put in, maybe it will go crazy on YouTube. So that is the beauty of UAC. Now, to come back to Shikhir's second question, where he's talking that if I have more than one conversion in our account,
Yes.
and I need to meet targets for all of them, then how would UAC optimize?
Yes, that's a good question, Shikhar. So currently, the current version of UAC that you're seeing only allows you to optimize to either first install or open. And open is possible only if you have a postback implemented as well. So essentially, UAC stops there as of now. But like I told you, the next version of UAC will actually allow you to optimize into deeper conversion actions. And each campaign will allow you to optimize up to 3 conversion actions in one. And if you need to optimize for more than that, you need to set up multiple campaigns. And that's possible. You can set up separate campaign, one for, let's say, conversion type equal to registration, one as a campaign conversion type equal to added to a cart, and third as actual purchase. That's completely possible. But remember that as you go deeper and deeper into the funnel, as you go deep into the app, you're going to be giving up volume and you're going to give up scale for a deeper conversion action. So when you set up conversion actions, also please think about that. And we would recommend that when you start, please start with shallow conversion actions. Maybe the first step of, let's say, the app, like for example, registration could be a very simple one, or first ride in case of a taxi app perhaps. But like I said, the deeper you go, you're giving up scale as well.
Okay, thanks for that, Shabana. Well, looks like those were all the questions we've got.
Okay, fantastic.
And this is great. Do you want to go to the next slide? Yes, so thanks a ton, guys, for attending. Very happy that a good amount of you could make it. What I will do is, like I mentioned before, I will send out the deck and the recording if you have registered, right? And the recording will be valid only for a few days. Post that, you will not be able to access it. Now, what I would definitely want you guys to do is, I will also send in a feedback form. Please, please, please fill in the feedback form. You know we take our feedback really seriously, right? And that will help me to also define and improve the next sessions in the Hangout on Air. Post this, we have 2 other sessions. One will be on the 8th of June, which is for the AdWords audience targeting. So I'll cover the entire suite of audience targeting in AdWords. And on 15th of June, we will have the remarketing suite within AdWords, right? Because I know a ton of you have questions because you definitely want to re-engage more with people that have come to your site and who've interacted on your site. So that is it for now. Thanks again for attending. And I will look forward to more questions if you have. Please go ahead and put it in the comment box, and we will answer any more questions if you keep adding till the end of today. And that's it. Thanks, Dan, for watching, and hope to see you on the 8th of June.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.